was very excited when I was asked to talk about the missing piece of the puzzle. I thought I was the missing piece of the puzzle, and then I think I was reminded that the missing piece of the puzzle might be data and advertising, and that's what I should be talking about. A very good evening to everybody. Just to introduce myself, my name is Srinivas. I used to be the Chief Portfolio Officer of Axiata Digital, and working under Kyril's stewardship in building a large portfolio of assets over the last 5 years in Axiata Digital. And for good or bad, I invested in a lot of digital advertising businesses, and then I was told to go run them. And now I really regret all the amazing business plans of digital advertising growth that I had submitted to our board, which I have to deliver now. Can I have the clicker if somebody has? So I just wanted to go through a little bit of detail in terms of what is ADA, and you guys have heard quite a bit about it, but I wanted to actually focus on what we think is the missing piece, especially in some of these frontier markets where digital adoption is phenomenal, but we don't think the whole marketing world and advertisers and brands have shifted significantly into that space. So you may know us, if you Google ADA, you're not going to find a lot. We are a fairly new brand, but we are actually a 5-year-old business itself. We've been operating under different brands called AdParlor, Asia. We've also been operating under AdReach, MobiReach in Bangladesh itself, in Sri Lanka as Digital Reach. And a few months back, we actually consolidated all these brands up into a single ADA umbrella brand to actually better exemplify what do we do as a business and actually bring to life what we are about. So ADA really stands for analytics, data, and advertising. And actually that order of analytics and data is very important for us because we are more data science guys, we're data geeks, we're engineers than advertising men. But largely what we attract into our business is essentially data science guys, growth hackers, and what I would like to say is frustrated advertising men and women who could not play with data when they were in the traditional world and have kind of crossed the chasm across. In terms of what are we like to say that we are an amazing mashup of 3 things: data science, creative and content, and technology. And what do we believe in? And this is a repeat of the slide that Kyril presented, and this is very important for us to actually explain and why we do what we do and how we do it. The first thing is breaking the silos between media and creative, and we actually think at the moment a lot of decisions are not driven by data. Marketing decisions are based on hunch. They are typically based on, I'm going to spend X% on Google, X% on Facebook, though I understand in Bangladesh it's quite easy, it's 100% on Facebook. And at the same time, creatives are done for TV and then eventually adopted to digital, and that's not the best way because TV sometimes, a creative could take you 4 months of brief, storyboarding, creation, and by the time you actually understand the value of that creative, you have actually spent a lot, the effectiveness of it. And then you try to adopt it for digital, and we think that's the wrong way around. You've got to be understanding what is the marketing objective, what is the business objective you're trying to solve for, trying to understand where are the consumers you're trying to target. Are they high-value customers? What type of customers you're trying to target? And then actually plot the customer journey first, and then figure your creative, what kind of creative do you want to do in order to engage with this customer base. So it should be media planning first, and then creative, not an amazing creative idea, and then eventually try to figure that out through an expensive media process. The second thing which Carl mentioned is the 1/10 rule. We're not going to disrupt anything if we just offer at the same price. You have to be able to deliver 10x the value for the same price, and that's why we have this 1/10 rule inside our company. So that starts with data-driven creatives. When we have this 1/10 notion in our mind, that's when you start innovating. That's when you start using technology. That's when you actually say, I'm going to be actually driving value buys as opposed to volume buys. So that's more a DNA for us. The third thing is outcome-driven, and I'm sure every agency, every advertising marketing firm says, we are amazing. We do amazing data analytics, we are amazing in media placement, et cetera, et cetera. And we are starting to shift our business model, whereby if if we are so amazing, we should be taking all the media risk, we should be taking all the data risk, and we should only be charging once we have delivered a real outcome that the customer wants. And this is more relevant generally for industries which are not mass market and have niche focuses, like financial services, institutions, credit cards, etc. So we actually now have a number of business clients where we actually only charge them once we have actually delivered them a revenue-generating customer. And I guess the previous panel was talking about what do you measure? Do you measure likes? Do you measure shares? End of the day, I guess the holy grail is that revenue-generating customer that we want to measure for. And the last thing is of course, preparing ourselves for a world where everything is automated. And frankly, I think AI will do a better job than a number of ad ops guys these days who are just running campaign to campaign. And actually, there's a lot of room for AI in this space. And actually, we've been collecting a huge amount of information and data about past campaigns, how they performed, and all that is going into a machine learning framework, which then automatically decides where should you be spending what media, what type of creative, and optimize through an AI platform itself. In terms of our kind of data-driven services, we have essentially three main products and services itself. One is what we say on the digital agency side, where we provide Futures and Studio A and Exchange. These are essentially our data-driven media planning tools, consulting and creative services, and also our trading desk business. We also do a lot around the actually digital media, and this is more using our data for targeting on different platforms like Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, etc. And AD Acquired is our outcome-driven business, where we actually only charge on a customer acquisition. All of this is powered by our telco-powered DMP, and in Bangladesh, we work very closely with Robi around this as well, where we mash up different customer segments and data from different sources and actually drive a lot of the services above. Just to give you a little bit example in terms of our Exact, which is our data management platform, we use first-party, second-party, third-party data. This is probably the largest telco-powered DMP around the world, and definitely one of the largest DMPs in this part of the market, with over 280 million subscriber profiles in one single place, over 200 attributes. On a monthly basis, we process close to 50 billion records of information. Of course, all PII, so compliant within regulation and only consented data, of course. I wanted to show you a quick video in terms of how much data we actually process across our 8 countries that we have market operations around. 280 million monthly devices, 41 million on a daily basis, information that we actually see, over 200 raw and derived attributes for each of the user. We had done this quick view of who can we spot for in the market, and what do we know about these users across maybe three of our markets, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Sri Lanka. You can see, for example, using location information, you can figure out, is this person an air traveler, is this person a rail traveler, do they have a country club membership, what kind of lat-long location, etc. All this information, of course, helps you build a whole bunch of psychographic profiles, behavioral profiles, which also then helps you design your campaign, who you target, how you target, when you target, and what form and function do you target. So it's not also just about targeting. For us, it's very important for media planning and creative process as well. Typically, data has only been used for the last mile delivery of the media. We actually use it for the front-end media planning and creative, which is where I think the bulk of the value add for us is as well. These are some of the derived attributes and stuff about this. This is a tool that we work together with a company called Culture Machine, which actually allows us for deciding what type of creative should you be developing. It should not be based on a hunch anymore. It should really be based on what are the trending topics right now. What are people talking about? Are people talking about maybe a gridlock that happened in traffic and did they speak for a week? That should have been identified in the morning, and there should be a creative out there where brands are engaging with what their customers are discussing about. What are what are people talking about the competitors as well? And this is where we built a platform which gives huge amount of intelligence around understanding insights of what is going on YouTube comments, what is going on Instagram comments, etc. And actually collecting all that up. And then see the top videos. So I'm sure Mahta Bhai and also Pradeep Bhai will like to know who are Banglalink customers, what are they talking about, what videos are they watching, and how do I better engage with my competitors and customers as well. And also, what is the current brand measurement of your own brand out there, and how does it compare with other competitor brands? And all this information then goes into essentially our creative process using machine learning as well as kind of machine editable videos, which then actually produce content for us. This seems to be a bit meshed. Yeah, so this is our 1/10 time and 1/10 cost promise, which is data-driven, speed, and cost-effective. And of course, all this only happens if you use AI and tech to power your creative strategy and development. Finally, just also wanted to talk about, while we do media as a service, we also have data as a service that we bring to bear to market. And this is a lot about enriching customer data sets on first and second party. It's also about providing a number of use cases and tools and models on how do you segment users, how do you create different behavioral profiles, and then eventually how can you use on the media side for targeting as well.